o'clock. Where can we start? The quicker we eat. Thank you.
That's an idea.
Yeah.
As always, to start, please rise and uncover. Pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Sorry, we're having microphone troubles again this month. Thought I had it fixed, but anyway, I assume it's broken because I said, "Can you hear me?" They said that's bad. Maybe they heard me. Anyway, hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day yesterday. My wife's not here, but she said make sure to tell them that, so I've told them that. For those that don't know, that's the high holidays around my house. Do we have any guests today? One of you is not a liar.
Well, I'm going to introduce our Purple Heart veterans a little bit during the presentation. I do know that a couple of family members for some of our Purple Heart veterans are here. Stacy, Mel Carney's daughter, is here. Kathy, Steve Wolf's wife is here, hiding somewhere, maybe. And then Colonel Shuey is here. He's speaking at an event next week. And so, I just wanted to let you know that there are some extra family members as well.
Yes, sir.
I'm Jim J., a guest, and I brought a guest.
Yay!
Alrighty.
Thanks for braving the weather. Thank you very much to Sammy and Linda, wherever you went, for shoveling, and Joe Gavlik, wherever he is at, because I saw him out there with a squeegee, for shoveling and making our ramps semi-safe. And I appreciate everybody not falling down on the way in. Is Beth up here, or should she go back downstairs?
I'm here.
Speaking of not falling down, there's a clipboard with hold harmless forms.
Yeah, so members, this is just for members. And, excuse me, and we have to fill these out every year. I know you're going to go, I filled this out before, but you have to fill it out for 2020. So if you just take one of these off of here, there's some pins in the back when this is all over, and you can give them to me, give them to Brian, or whatever afterwards, okay?
Or Linda. She's
Yeah.
doing just about everything else around here. So.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Do we have any new members that have not been sworn in? Anybody that wants to say hi? Okay. Anybody who has not paid dues are due January 1st. That's what pays for the heats and the lights and the video and the awesome sound system that doesn't work. So $50 a year to the Heart of America CAF-HOA. I can take them, Linda can take them, pretty much any staff officer. Appreciate it. That's one of our big fundraisers. Name tags, once you've paid your dues and you want to be acknowledged, is Jack's back here somewhere.
I'm way back here.
The big fancy name tags. You did, awesome. If you two want to be Dennis Vogan, Dennis is not here today.
One day he's going to show up.
He is. We have custom large print Heart of America wing name tags. Jack McHale back there in the khaki hat gets them set up for us. $13? 14 with inflation, cash only. Phil Schaefer, are you here? I'm sorry, Paul Schaefer, are you here? Anybody sees him, I also got his name tag. There's a variety of people you can be if you want to. See Jack after the meeting at lunch if you want a custom name tag. Flags. The hangar, we have American flags and then all the military service flags, and then actually we used to have some CAF flags hanging on the wall there. When we put in the new siding, we took them down and we were rehanging them. Jim Bond, if you can see him, right there, has volunteered to run that right now. Tomorrow at noon, he was thinking if we could get some people out to help, we're gonna run cables. Well, Jared actually came up with the design, it's awesome. Running cables between the uprights, and then we clip the flags onto them so they don't get damaged, they don't blow into anything. But Jim needs some help hanging them up. Anybody available tomorrow, noonish, to come out? Brad Ricky, Jim Halfcoat, I can see a hand back there, so that's Denise. Chuck?
Good, the usual suspects.
What time?
Noon, I knew.
Are you bringing lunch?
What lunch there is, Jim will provide.
Yeah, we'll find something that's left over from
Yeah,
today.
don't fill up too much today, it'll be in the fridge. Thank you very much for helping out, for volunteering for that. Wing Staff Conference down in Dallas, the end of this month, like February 29th through March 2nd. The rates have gone up. If you book early, you get cheaper. It's a fun time to go. There's about 10 people going this year, I think. Who else is riding down with me? Joe, me, Susie, Linda.
Maybe.
Pardon me?
Maybe.
Maybe Linda. Anyway, if you want to ride down, I'm either taking a Suburban with about 8 people or a littler car with about 5 people. So if you need a ride to the Wing Staff Conference, give me a call. Tom McChesney's planning maybe on flying down there, which would be kind of cool. He's got a bonanza seats, probably 4 or 5 people. Okay, that's all. Hanging the flags. Oh, just a note of clarification. The Kansas City Air Show that's normally downtown is going to be out here this year, September 5th and 6th. We are not running that though. It's the same people who run the air show downtown. I've had several people call asking me what the acts are and am I getting a discount because I'm a CAF member. We will have our pop-up tent out there. We will need volunteers to help do that. Hopefully we'll be selling steerman rides and shirts and knickknacks and things like that. But it is not our air show. We do not have to worry about the parking for 30,000 people, which is my favorite part of the air show right now. But anyway, if someone asks, hey, can you give me a special deal because you're a CAF guy, the answer is sorry, no. The Red Tail trailer will be here. Rise Above is what they call it. Trailer will be here. Possibly the P-51 that goes with that. Our steerman, of course, will be here. I do not know of any other CAF presence. Anybody have more information than I do about that?
I don't know about CAF presence, but the local chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen Group, they're trying to get Colonel McGee to be here for that. You probably saw him when they did 2-point toss at the Super Bowl. But they just made him a brigadier general. He's a Tuskegee Airman.
Is he the last flyer alive?
No, he's not the last. There's about 12. But he's 100.
But he's 100, and if he's not booked, because it seems like every time we put the news on, he's at some ceremony or some 100 years old, and he gets out more than I do. But hopefully he'll be here.
He committed to the air show's organizers if his health allows.
If his health allows. He's 100, so it's 50-year than mine. But anyway, the theme of that song is, we are not running the air show. We don't have any special deals. If you want to buy your tickets ahead of time or something, you got to go to the KC Air Show website to do that. We will need volunteers, more news to come. Yes,
Did you
ma'am?
mention that it's not on this ramp here, that it's across?
And as far as I know, it will be set up on the west side of the airport. In fact, when the Thunderbirds fly, they want everything sterilized underneath them, so we'll have to abandon the hangar over here, at least for that part of the show. Whether we use it as a pilot briefing shack or somehow else help them, that'll be fine, but we will not be sitting here watching the air show.
We can't get to the hangar then that day?
Probably they will block it off, unless you're some high-ranking CIF BAP who wants to watch the show from underneath.
As we get closer to September, we'll have more information on the logistics of how all that's going to work. It's kind of up in the air right now.
Alrighty. Maintenance, I think I saw maintenance sitting back there. Come here, maintenance, give them an update.
Same update as last month. Everything's in progress. Nothing's done. We're still doing some modifications to the shop. The compressor that was purchased last month. Hopefully we get that done within, and that'll get us back on schedule for blast. We're processing PT-19 parts, trying to wait for the fuselage to get done over Gardner with Mr. Bitterkoffer. Atlanta called this week. They have fitted the tip bow, thanks to the ailerons getting down there. The right wing is, they actually put the first piece of plywood back on the right wing. It was the flap well underneath. Anybody wants to see it, come see me, I'll show you a picture of it. Then they made another emergency text message Wednesday. They called
About the
you.
lights?
Needing the dimensions of the nav light, because they needed to be able to cut the hole in the new wingtip there. Wanted to make sure they had it in the right place and the right size. So Brian and I collaborated to get them the information they needed, and so they're, I would say, will probably, like I said, the first piece of plywood's on. The plywood's bought. I think they're probably gonna start skinning within the next couple of weeks on that right wing. And then the left wing goes. We're still working out logistics on the center section. Trying to speed up our process, speed up the process. We're trying to get a hold of Mike Kelly, the president of the Fairchild Club, who does a lot of woodwork, and see if he has any room in his schedule to take our center section on. See if we can speed that process up. Otherwise, the guys in Atlanta, they just got a Stearman project and they're kind of antsy to get on it, which means they're kind of waning down on our project. They promised to get what we've sent them done, but
More incentive, though. You got their shop lot.
yeah, I'm apprehensive to push them too hard right now on the center section. So we'll continue progress on that. I'm looking for other avenues on that center section. After that, we'll get rolling. Yes, sir.
Curiosity question, what path are we going to take for ADSB compliance with that aircraft?
We will do something identical to what we're doing to the Stearman, which is a Garmin 335.
Oh, okay.
And then that airplane, as it goes back together, will also receive a new PS Engineering intercom.
Cool.
And then we'll the plan is to stick with the current comm radios that we have. The idea is the avionics packages will be identical in both airplanes.
Cool.
If we ever have one airplane go down, avionics wise, we can borrow from the other until if one has a show, just to make commitments, we're trying to make the avionics common between the two airplanes so that we can swap as needed.
Well, plus it makes it easier for the ground crew and the pilots to remember.
Right, yeah.
The same briefing goes for both airplanes.
So,
But the big theme is the 19 is taken all apart, it's starting to go back together kind of sort
that
of.
is true. You come by the shop, we're picking products, and we're starting to process all the little pieces now. And that's, the goal here is, we're not going for an award-winning airplane, we're going for a very nice airplane that we used to work. We do have a mission to do, and that's what we're building airplanes for, to make our mission.
And as part of the celebration, we finished taking everything apart. It's starting to go back together. We got a new uniform for the maintenance officer. Says we're done with all the hammers, now we're getting the duct tape out.
Another shirt for the wall in the shop.
Alrighty, speaking of airplanes, I've had a few people talk about, hey, they'd like to maybe get a different airplane while we're, we got room in the hangar for some of the airplanes, someone wants to donate one, give a call. But on the cfoperations.org website, there's a half a dozen up for assignment, one of which is a Navion. I've had a few people in the wing say that would be a cool airplane to have. It's got 3 or 4 seats, it's tricycle gear. There's a Fleet Finch I thought looked cool. It's like it's an open cockpit biplane, sort of like a Stearman, sort of like a what was the third one that was up there? Oh, an SNJ, which is a T6, if somebody's a high roller. The problem is the wing doesn't have any money to sponsor an airplane right now. If you wanted to maybe bring that here, we'd have to have a sponsor group formed. If someone's got the time and energy and devotion that they want to bring one of those 3 airplanes here, let me know and I'll talk to you about setting up a sponsor group. None of those airplanes are on the ride program, so they would not be.
You have to see this.
You've got to.
Kill it.
Okay. Anyway, you would not be, if you brought the airplane here, if you were sponsor for it, you wouldn't be able to recoup expenses by selling rides. You'd be able to take it to air shows if you could book them, or any kind of appearance fee you could do. But in the meantime, if you had a sponsor group of 5 or 6 guys, they'd be the ones to carry the burden of maintenance, insurance, annuac, et cetera. On one hand, that's a few $1,000s a piece. On the other hand, it's way cheaper than buying your own Navion. So, none of those 3 airplanes has been bid. Well, the T6 has already got 4 bids on it. I don't think we'll be in line for that. But the other 2, no one's bid on according to headquarters last week. So if you have an interest, or you got 3 or 4, it'd take 3 or 4 or 5 guys at least, I would think, to make it viable. Get together, let me know, and we'll call headquarters and see if you want to bring it here. Yes, sir.
What about its maintenance, recovery, balance, and also the condition? Is it a work in progress, or is it ready to go?
The Fleet Finch is ready to go. It's in annual and flying. However, it is a no electrical system airplane. So you hand start it. It's got a crank that starts it up, and no transponder ADSB, which could be a challenge working in and out of this airport. But it's a doable challenge. I've talked to the tower guys, and they'll make it work. The Navion was in Florida, went to California. Now it's out of annual, but as far as they know, everything's fine with it. Their sponsor group wasn't paying for it, so they didn't want to cough up the extra couple grand to annual it. So he said, just get an annual, you can fly it home tomorrow, which is a salesman talking. But it's probably not too bad if they flew it halfway across the country, or all the way across the country, and got to run it. Again, it would be a little bit of energy, a little bit of money, and a lot of dedication to get it here, if you wanted to.
Navion ADSB.
Yes.
Does that?
Yeah, that's what they said. Yes, sir.
You know,
Could you explain what it takes to get the airplane on the ride program?
The FAA has to approve it. We have to apply to, well, not we, Dallas headquarters, operations, maintains two ride programs, one for experimental planes, one for standard category planes. They have to make an application to the FAA saying this airplane is airworthy if it's standard category, which these would be. A standard category airplane will be operated commercially, and then the FAA office down there has to rubber stamp it, and it's on the ride program. Takes about 6 months normally once you make an application for it. There's no fee involved, it's just time and government paperwork. The problem is, since the B-17 crashed a couple months ago, the FAA, being the FAA, nobody wants to get in trouble, so they're very leery. They're reviewing everyone's ride program, and according to Lashy, there's probably going to be a big delay. Probably be at least a year before you'd be able to get one of those on the ride program, just because no one wants to be the first one to say yes. So there's no money involved, there is some paperwork involved, and there's some time involved. In the meantime, if you guys wanted to be a sponsor group, you could fly it this summer to the Gardner fly-in, or if you could book an air show at Whiteman or something like that, you could recoup costs that way. Otherwise, it's
So what's the cost?
whatever it is, divided by
wild
how many
guess,
bodies you have. Yes, sir.
Probably with annuals and the insurance and annuac and all that stuff, over in excess of $10,000.
I'd say 10 grand is probably a good start.
Probably closer to 12, 12 and a half, I'm thinking, by the time you
So if you got
operationally.
10 guys together, that's $1,000 a piece, plus whatever gas and oil you burn,
Yeah.
because you'd be supporting the airplane. Again, a chunk of change, but cheaper than buying your own. So if you're interested, let me know. I don't have time to set up a group right now. I'd love to have the T6 come here. I would be a member of the T6. I got 2 or 3 people who want to do that. But A, it's a popular airplane. The odds of us getting there are minimal. And B, it's a little bit pricier than, as someone told me, that's high stakes poker.
yeah, I could put a little perspective on that, because I've been looking down that lane, and Navions in annual flying now are running about $35,000 to $85,000 in the open market, mostly depending on the avionics that they have on. I did have a question, it's kind of a piggyback on his, and that's that if a sponsor group got together, acquired an airplane, would it ultimately become part of the wing so that we do get it in the ride program, and that sponsor group stays with the airplane? But
Well, it'd be, the sponsor group would actually be like its own little unit.
okay,
We have room in the hangar, but you probably have to pay hangar rent because you'd be an independent operating group. Nobody knows what the future is. If we get a $1 billion endowment, then sure, the wing will sponsor it all. I doubt that's gonna happen. But you would be your own little Heart of America Navion group, or whatever you wanna call it, CAF Navion sponsor. They're throughout the country. The Wildcat out in California does that. Lumpy, the gunfighter up there in Council Bluffs, they're not part of the Council Bluffs wing. They're their own little sponsor group unit. Did I hear a Brian somewhere? Nope, okay.
But with some kind of sponsorship from the wing about, yeah, we got a place to hang, or we can put you in that.
Well, we got room, yeah,
Yeah.
and being a CEF airplane, you definitely don't need room for anybody else. But again, the burden of the administration and the money would be on the sponsor group. I will tell you, you're gonna need at least 5 or 6 people to do this.
Yeah.
Because operations headquarters doesn't want one guy doing it and the next year say, you know what, I don't wanna do this anymore, they're gonna reassign it. So they wanna have a core group big enough to make it sustainable. Alrighty, dance committee, any update from the dance committee?
Plan on getting the announcement for the event to various organizations within our community this week and soliciting donations.
Cool. Is Jim Schrock here? Anywhere? No? Okay. The Lancer, if you notice, it's been cut in half down there. They're getting ready to move it out of the hangar. Jim Schrock is in charge of all that. He's looking for another CAF unit to take it over because the Heart of America wing doesn't have the time or money or interest to get it running. So that will be out of here within the next month or so. The T6, Shetterly's T6, will be back, he said, early March. So that was part of the incentive for getting rid of last year. Okay, once again, it's freezing cold downstairs, so we're gonna eat lunch upstairs. So when the meeting is over, if I could get some people to knock some chairs down, there's tables behind the couch over there. We may need a couple more to come up, but please help set up for lunch afterwards. Jerry Sladish is down sick, hopefully feeling a little bit better, but we're gonna need somebody else to empty the trash and make sure the place is spick and span before we leave, because Jerry always takes care of that for us. And anybody else have an announcement, a want, a need, a suggestion? Girlies?
When we knock down the tables,
Uh-huh.
we're gonna have that event on Friday.
How many tables they need?
There's gonna be about 15 to 18 people, or fewer than we thought, so, somebody help me, we'll just set it up. If that's all, do you have an event between now and Friday?
Not that I'm aware
So
of.
if we can set it up before that, then that's one less thing we have to do.
Those that don't know, Casey Bobcat is having a corporate meeting here. Some people are starting to hear about the CAF. It's a good way for us to raise money. So they're gonna need 4 or 5 tables set up and some chairs, so don't take all the tables and chairs downstairs. Leave them set up, and as he said, if you can help set up after the meeting, after lunch, for Casey Bobcat, we appreciate it. Anything else?
Yes, I've got a quick question to ask. I live in Topeka, and I've already got all kinds of people interested in open hangar day. Do we have flyers that we can post in Topeka?
Do we have any flyers yet? Open hangar day? Nope, not done yet, but the first one is May, is that right? Or April?
First Saturday in May.
First Saturday in May, so hopefully in the next month or so we'll have a lot.
Okay, because I've got a lot of pilots
Good.
that just got them 6-digit numbers in their wallet. One of them's a car salesman, been there 20 years, and he's so crazy, he actually has a flight simulator right there in his office when he sells cars, he's flying a simulator.
Cool. So they can fly into the airport. We're a wonderful place for
Yeah.
fly-in breakfast and stuff, or lunch, I guess. All right, anything else?